Gee, this feels awfully familiar. I can't put my finger on it.
What the hell are we doing back here, Obama?
Another Godzilla tier list, Don.
Another one?
Don, this isn't a one-and-done deal like your presidency.
At least I can climb stairs without falling.
At least I can drink water with one hand.
There's more to do than just rank all the Godzilla films.
Which is why today we'll be ranking every Godzilla design.
Good choice, Barack.
No better place to start than the OG design.
A very clean suit design all around.
The suit that set the baseline for all future designs. Nothing too crazy, but delightedly simple.
My vote goes to G tier. This design has no flaws as far as I'm concerned.
Can't say I agree with you on flawless, but G tier's fine with me.
Anything 54 related is most certainly a G tier.
Just like the films. 54 goes straight to G tier. Godzilla Raids Again is next.
Would have given this a D tier, but the Suitmation Trials ARG made this low-key more scary than 54.
Don't forget the man in the suit. Shout out to Unknowingly.
The design as a whole is a step down, though. Some of the proportions are off.
It's the close-up shots that drag this design down. Though it looks better at a distance, so I'm saying B tier.
B tier is respectable.
C tier would fit better, but I'll compromise for B.
That was more bipartisan in the last 5 seconds than Congress in the last 5 months.
Those liberals, man, I'll tell you.
Godzilla versus King Kong.
He looks high as shit due to the eye placement.
There's worse designs out there.
This design gave us the iconic blue atomic breath. For that, I say B tier.
I got nothing. B tier sounds fair.
Okay, then it's a B tier. Godzilla vs. Mothra is next.
Definitely one of the better Showa designs.
Nothing much to complain about here. The design's pretty solid.
It's obvious the eyes are fake in close-ups, though, due to being super glossy looking.
Overall good design, A tier.
Respectable placement considering other Showa designs.
Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
A straight downgrade from Godzilla vs. Mothra. Everything about the design is slightly worse.
Kind of like every subsequent season of The Apprentice.
I'll get you for that, Georgie boy.
Bite me.
Too much asbestos.
Hey, Donald.
What, Sleepy?
Shut up.
He started it.
And I'm ending it. It's going in B tier.
And up next is Invasion of Astro Monster.
This was the starting point where the Showa design started getting worse for me.
Still gave us the greatest Godzilla gif of all time.
Gonna be honest, it's the head and face of most Showa designs that kind of ruins them for me.
A pretty mid-design, but Godzilla started becoming more for kids by this point, so it is understandable.
Still not a bad design, and the victory dance gives it bonus points, B tier.
Just chuck it to the bottom of B then.
More of a C tier for me, but B tier is also fine.
Ebra, Horror of the Deep is up next. Anyone got some spare buckshot lying around?
What on earth do you need buckshot for?
Cheney called. He's going hunting.
Well, you got the orange part covered.
It'll also match your jumpsuit next year.
Getting this shit show back on track. Where are we ranking this design?
Looks pretty much the same as Astro Monster. I'm saying C tier.
Yeah, no real changes to the suit. I'm saying C as well.
Oh boy, it's time for Son of Godzilla.
The resemblance with Joe on the podium is staggering.
I'm getting more McConnell vibes from that face.
This might actually be the worst Showa design in the whole era.
Are we bringing up He Who Shall Not Be Named in this movie as well?
Damn you, Sleepy. Now the comment section is going to point out how we left him out of these rankings.
We already know where he'd be placed. Now, where are we putting this design?
Just throw it in D tier. I'm already getting creeped out looking at his face.
Yeah, I'm fine with the D tier.
Okay then. Son of Godzilla is a D tier.
Ah yes, the Showa classic, Destroy All Monsters.
Automatic S tier, one of the best designs in the Showa era, hands down.
I'm gonna level with you here, Don. That's not an S tier design.
Here we go again with Sleepy's hot take of the day.
You wanted to put one of the most thought-provoking Godzilla films into fucking F tier.
Now who's this son of a bitch that said I wanted to put -1 in F tier?
Toho should sue you for that.
We all agree Destroy All Monsters is good film-wise, but what about its Godzilla?
Definitely on par with the Godzilla v Mothra design.
This is one of the better Showa designs of the era. I think A tier is fair.
A tier is a fine placement.
A tier works.
Oh great, here comes the walking shit show Giant Monsters Attack.
We talking about Godzilla or January 6th?
We're ranking Godzilla, not insulting my fans here, Barack.
Donald, do you know what the phrase shut up means?
Why, yes, Barack, I know very well what that phrase entails.
Your violated gag orders say otherwise.
You know what I didn't ask for, Sleepy? Your input. Shut the hell up.
You did not have to do him like that, Don.
Back to the important matters. This design is mid as hell. I'm voting C tier.
I don't know, man. I think D tier is a better fit for how bad it was.
I'm agreeing with Don because we're only taking aspects about the designs into account here, not the film as a whole.
Everything about Giant Monsters Attack is mid to bad. We're being especially generous with a C.
Oh boy, here comes the walking trash pile from Godzilla v Ghidorah.
Not a bad design, but nothing really changes from Giant Monsters Attack.
Not a fan of the flying either, despite the Showa era being inherently childish.
It's a perfectly serviceable design. Not egregiously bad, but not incredibly good either.
My vote is C tier. Excluding the flying scene, there is almost nothing new with the design.
I think D tier is better, but a C tier is good too.
Godzilla vs. Ghidorah's final rank is C tier. Coming next is Godzilla vs. Gigan.
You can literally see the suit falling apart in places during some of the shots.
Still holding up better than Trump's mental right now.
I'm not even going to acknowledge you at this point.
You know, Donald is butthurt when even he doesn't fight back.
The design doesn't really change either, but it's made worse by the talking scene with Anguirus. D tier.
Agreed 100% D tier.
Finally, in the home stretch of the Showa era, it's time for Godzilla versus Megalon.
Actually, a hot take here, but these next few designs go pretty damn hard.
It's definitely an upgrade from the previous designs.
The only major criticism I can see is the obvious pig-nose Godzilla has.
Definitely the weakest out of these next few, but I'd put it top of C tier.
I agree. Top of C tier is a fine placement.
Top of C tier for Godzilla versus Megalon. Now it's time for the classic Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
They took the previous design and improved upon it. Everything looks better.
Another good design. There's not a ton to complain about with this one.
Could have held back on the amount of blood. I felt like I was watching the Kill Bill version.
A solid design with only minor issues. I'd give it a high B tier.
I got no issues with a high B tier for this one.
The OG Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla gets a high B. And last in the Showa era is Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Damn, Toho was really cooking with this one.
This design has the perfect blend of silly and imposing mixed together. It really looks great.
I gotta say, these past three designs really don't get a lot of love. They should, because they really are good.
I'm voting A tier. It might not be the best design in the big picture nowadays, but it's definitely up there with other Showa designs.
So true, Barack. I'm voting A tier as well.
I will third that A tier vote.
We end the Showa era on a good note with an A tier ranking, and next up is the Hanna-Barbera design.
I don't think any of us are qualified to properly rank this because none of us have seen it.
It's a good Godzilla design to get a young child introduced to the franchise. But to veteran fans like us, it doesn't hold up.
It's not really my cup of tea, but the cartoon was aimed for a younger audience, so the design reflects that.
It may not be our kind of design, but I'm willing to throw it at the top of D tier.
Certainly better than the other D tier designs there right now. He's got my vote.
Barbera's Godzilla lands itself at the top of D tier.
And just like our film rankings, not a lot has changed here.
Still a decent list so far, and I'm looking forward to the continuation of the tier list in the future.
You'll be lucky to live that long, Sleepy.
And you'll be lucky to not be in jail by then.
And lastly, to our audience, we are getting closer to 1,000 subscribers. We truly appreciate your support of the channel. Have a fantastic day.
You guys want to watch the new episodes of Monarch?
Oh, hell yeah, now you're speaking my language.